All right, everybody, welcome to our college road trip with Smiley. So this presentation is for young adults who are preparing for college or going to college or already in college. And so it's presented by the Child's Voice Alumni Association. So we'll start with some Child's Voice Alumni Introductions. So we will start with Carrie.
Okay, hi, I'm Carrie. I have been a Child's Voice. This is going to be my 24th year, and I'm excited to be doing the Special Services Coordinator position this year, which means I will be following our alumni in the mainstream, and who knows what's going to happen this year. I've heard from some families, some kids will be back in the classroom, some won't, so it's going to be a really interesting year. And I'm really proud to work with all of these alumni right now because I taught every single one of them. And so this is going to be a fun night. I'm excited for all the information that they're going to share.
Thank you, Carrie. So my name is Drucker. I'm alumna of 2003. Currently, I am a hearing itinerant teacher in the mainstream schools at District 135 in Orland Park. I'm really happy to be here, and I thank you all for coming to this virtual panel. Even though things are a little different now, given the situation with COVID, but really appreciate you guys making the time coming on here. All right, Mitch.
Hi, my name is Mitch Olsen. I'm also an alum of Child's Voice, class of 1999. I'm also a teacher at Child's Voice. I'm going into my second year. My first year was quite crazy and interesting, and seems like this is going to be even more interesting, so I'm looking forward to it.
Hi, I'm Amy Bussa, class of 2007. I'm currently a sophomore at Olsen College, and it's going to be an interesting year.
Hi, I'm Jareczek, also class of 2007, a rising sophomore at Boston College, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to something different than the everyday normal. So.
I'm Lindsay. I'm also a graduate of Child's Voice in 2007. I'm a rising sophomore at Rochester Institute of Technology. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting meeting.
Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Josh Singer, class 2006. I'm going to be a senior at Illinois State, so time flies. I'm really looking forward to this year, and yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Everybody. So let's move on to the next slide and get started. So who is joining us today? So this will be a little different. If you could please introduce yourself in the group chat that is in the upper right-hand corner. Tell us who you are, if you're an alumni or a senior in high school, coming or a freshman or a teacher, etc. So if you guys could post in the chat, let us know, and you will know who you are. Time. So while we wait to see who is on here, we can move on to the next slide, and we'll know who's watching and listening. So we have a guest here, Samantha, who is an alumna class of 2008. She'll be an incoming college freshman, so this is a pretty good presentation to help you prepare for college. All right, so here we are in learner outcomes. So these are outcomes that we want you guys to have by the end of this virtual panel. We want you to have the best practices for self-advocacy and accommodations, so how you can get around on campus, what can you do for yourself to be successful in the classroom, what accommodations you can set for yourself. So for the classroom and the environment. And to be able to list strategies that you can use during classroom or events that may be virtual or in person, even classes as well that will be online, especially. On the next slide.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Oh.
There we go. Sorry.
You're all good. So this is the self-assessment. So these are just questions you want to ask yourself. How you deal with listening fatigue, because that's a really common thing among students who are deaf or hard of hearing in classroom? Are you communicating your needs as a person with the hearing loss effectively? Are you advocating for yourself? Do you know how to get around? Do you know where to go and set up your accommodations? Did you ever have trouble getting your accommodations in high school or even during college or even in your first year? Just take a moment, just look at these questions, think about it. If you have questions, we will try to do our best to answer them throughout the panel. Next slide. All right. Who would like to take this slide and talk a little bit more about classroom accommodations and what we can think about?
I can do it. So there's tons of different accommodations you can use in the classroom. And you don't necessarily have to use all of these, but you may want to consider any of them and any combination of them to help you conduct the class. So some of the accommodations you can do are captioning, cards, real-time captioning. If you use sign language, you can get a sign language interpreter in the classroom. You possibly can ask your teacher to record lessons and get the recordings after class. You might have to ask permission for this, but that's a possibility. One I've used in the past is a peer note taker. I find this to be really useful. If I'm trying to follow what the teacher's saying and I can't look down to write notes and follow what the teacher's saying at the same time, I find the peer note taker is really useful for that. I've also done the next one, which is having the teacher provide lecture notes or an outline or some kind of Google slide prior to the lesson, which just kind of gives you a visual cue as you're following the lecture for that day. You can use noise canceling or Bluetooth headphones. This is good for when you're taking a test or such as what I'm doing right now during the Zoom or Google meeting. So some other things to think about. When setting up your accommodations, have a list ready to go for student services to be in effect. So make sure when you sit down to explain why you need the services that you need, that you know what you're talking about, you're ready to answer the person's questions, because it's very possible that student services has never had a seat in the hearing loss. So you might be the first one to educate them on that. In terms of the FM system, check with student services to see if the FM system is brand new or if it's antiquated. You can request to get a new one if you don't just accept the old one, which could break. Make sure you get a new one. If your accommodations are denied from a teacher, you can report to student services or to the dean, because your accommodations are on a legal document and faculty and staff must provide them according to your dean. So don't be afraid to stand up for yourself if you have a teacher or some other staff member refuse your accommodations.
Next slide.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're all good, Carrie. So, Josh, would you talk a little bit more about the housing accommodation for young adults with hearing loss?
Yeah. So basically, so first up, every dorm will have the fire alarms in there, but they will have a strobe light, so you have to request for those. And then the doorbell light. I don't think I've ever used one of those, but all of these things you should request through your student accommodations at your college for sure. The one thing I do use mostly is the alarm clock slash the bed shaker. I use the sonic boom, which is the first one. So that's been the one I use. This is a pretty bright light bulb, and I put it a wrist grip in the morning as well, because a side thing is you're able to plug in I put into that as well. So that's a pretty good feature. How's it?
Yeah, I can add on to that as well. So for my college, like they just automatically offered the doorbell light and alarm clock bed shaker combination, but like it wasn't as high quality as the sonic boom. So I brought the sonic boom to college, and then I used that one primarily. But then like occasionally, like if there was an emergency situation, like the doorbell light and alarm clock were automatically geared to like turn on if there was like a fire alarm or something major like that. And so like it's kind of good to have both. Like definitely request it, but I mean for the most part, I recommend the sonic boom for like your everyday needs of like waking up early, getting to class, things like that.
That's pretty nice.
How about you, Lindsay and Amy? Did you guys have sonic alarm, or did you guys request through the school?
I have my own sonic room because my school also has the National Institute of the Deaf. So they already had a bunch of rooms with strobe lights, the fire alarms and stuff. So I was able to already have those in the room and then just bring my son.
For me, I brought my sonic boom. I have an alarm clock with the strobe light for emergencies, and then I just brought my sonic boom because I preferred it for using it to wake up in the morning.
Perfect. And I put down resources if you guys are interested. Amazon and Walmart both have the same prices for that sonic boom alarm clock, which is very high quality and very reliable. And it lasts a long time. I have mine and it lasted 10 years. And it's still working very well right now. So I definitely recommend them. And you can even get through the college for emergencies. So that is a great idea. I'm glad you guys mentioned that.
Can I offer an alternative to the bed shaker? Because when I tried the sonic boom, it felt like an earthquake to me personally. It scares me too much. So I actually use a Fitbit that I put on my wrist, and then it has an alarm, and that's what I use to wake me up. It just vibrates my wrist.
That's a good idea. Thank you, Mitch. Did you want to touch upon those different types of FM systems and additional equipment?
Yeah, of course. So I've actually used the majority of these like FM systems throughout my schooling. So I used the Phonak Inspiro for high school. That was one that was automatically offered through my high school. And the Roger Pen I used also in college. That was like the first thing that I got basically when I got on campus. I went straight to the disabilities office and they just offered me the Roger Pen. So it really does depend on like the college and like the school and things like that really offer different types of FM systems. I personally like the Roger Pen. I use that one the most. But the Phonak Inspiro is very good because like the microphone clip just goes automatically pretty easily anywhere that like the teacher needs to put it, which is pretty convenient. I never use the Roger touchscreen, but I'm assuming it works in a very similar way. But so for an audio cord, so a lot of the times when I'm working with like at home content and things like that, I use the Mini Mic 2 Plus, which has an like an aux cable, and I just plug that straight into the mini mic, and I plug that into my computer, and I just link it up right away to my like cochlear implant, and it works like a charm, and it sounds really really good. And so like if you were to like invest in something, I would recommend immediately investing in the Mini Mic 2 Plus if you have a cochlear implant because it works like a charm, and it works really conveniently, and you could also use it as a similar service as like the Roger Pen or something like that because it has a clip-on, and so it's just very convenient to use in a like classroom setting or like conversationalist setting.
Can you explain more what that is?
The Mini Mic 2 Plus?
Yeah.
Oh, so I can show you right now. It's right here at the edge of my screen. So it's basically like it's not that big. It's I would say about like 2 quarters high almost, like maybe like a couple inches, and it's like pretty light, pretty durable. I've brought it pretty much everywhere. I tossed in my backpack. It doesn't break at all, which is awesome. But basically, it has 3 settings on there that I use mainly, which is like the microphone, which is like can be used as an FM system relaying sound. It has a telecoil option, which is like you can connect certain rooms that have telecoil in the room, which my college does not have that, but a lot of colleges have like designated like professor areas with telecoil. And then the third one is the aux cord, like automatic direct connection, and then that just connects basically straight to my computer. I used to use it like for listening to music and things like that because it has a really, really great sound quality in comparison to like the Phonak Inspiro or the Roger Pen, which you could use, but it has such a higher sound quality because it's made through cochlear, and I just recommend that overall above everything else. Does that answer your question?
It's made through cochlear.
Yeah, like it's basically offered like on the cochlear website, and like it's very easy to find if you're looking it up. It's one of like
cochlear recipients to get this mini mic, or can you get it through like advanced bionics, or it's just strictly cochlear?
It comes through a lot of different like hearing sound processor stuff. I got one through advanced bionics, like because my cochlear one broke. It just like just have to look around, but Cochlear is the one that offers it, like, in the box. It comes with your sound processor if you order it. Like, so, like, Cochlear offers, like, at least it offered me, like, 2 different devices that I could bring along with the sound processor. So I got the Aqua Plus, and I got the Mini Mic too. And I use the Mini Mic every day, and then when I go swimming, I use the Aqua Plus. And so it just works really well with the Cochlear sound. So if you see it as an option, definitely get it.
I have a question. So
Yes.
all of these tips that you're giving now, are we putting a resource document together so when you go off to college, we're able to say to parents, you've learned now how to ask these questions and what questions to ask, or you've experienced it, your college gives you this, but if your college doesn't, you know to ask for that. I'm just asking for the follow-up of this presentation. Is there a document that says, ABA, and when you talk to college reps, this is the stuff you need to ask? Can we do that?
If you bring up to college reps, like, do they have this type of equipment?
Right. So when you sit down to talk to your ABA, you can say, I really am looking forward to this, or I need that, or I need this. But I'd really like to tap into Lindsay a little bit more because she's in an environment that supports it all. I mean, it is there, it's built in. And so you're living the luxury of it, but do you realize what luxury that is? And can you almost specify, in classrooms we have this, in dorms we have this, around the campus we have this?
Yeah, it's very supported, definitely, by the school. If I went to a different school, I definitely would not have the luxury, and I'd probably have to go to the disability service more often than I do. But yeah, so in the classroom, usually there's either an interpreter, or there's a real-time captionist, or there's both. There's also there's like a place where you can go to if your implant gets broken, hearing aid broken, you just go, you can get it fixed, or you can, they have an service, I'm blanking on the word right now, but you can get your implants checked too, and you can basically get everything done on campus. They have an unlimited amount of like graduate time FM systems, as many as you can think of. You just have to go and ask for it. They have different pieces too for processors if one happens to break and you don't have an extra one. There's different spots on campus too where it's only American Sign Language to like incorporate everyone. So yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's definitely good to think about, like, when you, especially for juniors and seniors in high school, and you're seeing college reps. If you go on campus getting a tour, you can ask them then, or if college reps are coming to your school, you can ask them there as well. Take that opportunity to find out more what they can provide for you to have a successful college experience in the learning environment and in housing as well. Thank you guys. And I also put, Carrie and I put the link and a little explanation about the mini mic. So if you guys want to look at the chat and look at the clear link. So this is a really silly GIF. Did I say that right? GIF? GIF?
Yeah. Or is it a meme? I guess it's a meme.
I'll just say meme. Thank you guys. So, it's really, I found a relatable meme, from The Office, when you think what someone says and they repeat it 98, 99 times, and you're just still like, what? I think that happens to all of us, right, guys? I mean, when we're in like a noisy place or we're at a concert or lunch, we're just like, what? It happens to the best of us, but it's really important to enhance our skills of asking people to repeat themselves, or, hey, I have a hearing loss, tell me that. Have you guys ever had an experience where you're not hearing them correctly, but you're shy of saying, like, hey, can you repeat that? Have you guys ever had that feeling? Yeah. All of us do, even hearing people do. It's like, we miss a lot, but we still want to be able to be like, okay, hey, I didn't hear you, but I really want to hear what you said so that I can be able to part of the conversation or include my thing of partaking in the conversation.
Well, I'll tell you the number one is I do not catch a name the first time off. Sorry. And then I'm embarrassed because I've talked to you now 15 times and I do not know your name. So I need those kind of self-advocacy skills to say, what's your name? Without being totally embarrassed. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it happens all the time to me.
Right, that happened to us. Like, what's a funny experience you guys had doing that? Like, where you just missed so much and you're not sure. Like, think back to a time in school, or you were in college, or you were at lunch and this random conversation, you're just not sure.
You should tell this. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Josh.
I mean, just for me, like, if I go to a party here at school, it'd be so loud. I'm not gonna get a single thing that whole night. That's for sure. So I kind of just like, it'd be pretty funny. This one person tried to talk to me. They'll be talking about some random thing, like 15 minutes straight, because they're obviously under the influence, and they're just talking to me about some funny stuff. And just like, so it's always a pretty interesting experience. So.
And it just doesn't happen with hearing people. It also happens within each other too. Like a few weeks ago, Josh and I were talking. I asked a question, and then I completely missed what he said, and I just went, "Yeah, okay, that's cool," but it wasn't even answering relating to what he said. But my mistake was I didn't ask him like, "What did you say? I didn't hear you." It was funny.
It was hilarious.
I completely missed the whole situation. I didn't get a clue what was happening until 10 minutes later. So.
I missed it too at first, but then when Carrie was like cracking up, I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, Mitch and I were like, "What just happened?" It was great.
It's funny. So, I mean, what about you guys in the audience that are guests on this panel tonight? What experience have you guys had? Maybe missing a few things multiple times, and you're just not sure how to fix that or how to say, "Hey, can you repeat that?" Just put that in the chat, and we'll share that throughout the panel. So this little sticky note before we get off track. Know yourself, know what you need, know how to get it. So that's the whole idea of this panel. Know yourself. You guys know yourself more than anybody, right? So like for Lindsay, she's around everything that is literally an accommodation, literally a natural thing to have on campus. She gets an interpreter, she gets a card service. It's not just for her, it's for everybody on campus. Whereas Amy, she knew what she needed. So she went and got her accommodations for as well as hello? And like Luke with his FM system, he knew what he needed. He knew what was better for him than the FM system that was provided by the college. So it's not both like that. Are these phones blowing up? Alright, next slide, please. Alright. Amy, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. So, specific strategies to advocate for yourself. So, you can get preferential seating, so you can sit in the front, and then depending on your hearing loss, if you're out of one side only, you can sit to the left or the right, depending. And then also, you can introduce yourself to your teacher and let the teacher know about your hearing loss and what accommodations you're going to need for that specific classroom. And then also, what I definitely do is I ask for notes in advance or an outline of the lecture. So usually my professors, he or she will email me the lecture beforehand, and I'll go through it like 10 minutes before class. So then that way I know where I'm at, if I'm going to have to ask any questions later on. And then I personally don't use the FM system because I'm at a small school, very small class sizes. But my school offered it to me, but I said I don't need it, so they were going to keep it in case I change my mind.
Like we want to ask, so for those who are currently in college, have you been in a classroom where there are more than 100 people, like a packed classroom?
I'd love to. I'd love to.
Everyone's looking at me like, like as if there wasn't a packed classroom.
You guys see me okay? Right. I'd love to just comment on real quick. So basically, for sitting in the front, especially for like the lecture hall of 200 to 300 people, which I used to be in not 2 or 3 years ago. My favorite thing was I'm the kind of guy that should the class 15 minutes early, and then just that's kind of who I am. And then I figured out the math is kind of I sit 3 to 5 rows back from the very front row, and then that usually works out pretty well. So, and then for introducing yourself to the teacher, Illinois State is a really great university in terms of like Haley knows that they're really such a great advocate for you. They will remind you, SAS student accommodations and accessibility services will tell you to email your teachers 1 month in advance. They'll remind you on a month in, so that I was emailing all my teachers. One professor even wanted to meet me on Zoom. Like he emailed back in 5 minutes. I had spent like an hour talking to him, so it's always pretty interesting. My person kind of my professors, but it's always been awesome. And yeah.
So for small classrooms, for the Lindsay, Amy, and Luke, you guys have small classes. And then Mitch was also, you were in a small school, right? So you had smaller class sizes too. So what were those like for you guys? Like, was it better? It's more quiet, or is it still noisy? Or explain a little bit more about that.
My class sizes were kind of the same in high school as I had in my classes in college. So like it wasn't too bad. I was kind of used to like the amount of noise it was. Like there's almost like half of kids. So it wasn't too bad. Like it wasn't that bad.
For me, my class size is the largest class size I've had is 40. The average has been like 20. So it's usually not that noisy unless we're doing group discussion. And then like most of my classmates already know just because whoever I sit by is usually in my group, so they already know that about my hearing loss. And if I miss something, they just know to repeat it. But it hasn't really been super noisy.
For me, like the classes are capped at 35, which is really great. So I mean, I'm not really like too deep into like that whole like lecture hall setup, but I mean, for sitting in the front and stuff, like I always kind of like talk to the teacher about it. Like most of the time, people are very lenient on like where you want to sit and things like that. Like that's never really an issue for like where you want to sit because everyone is pretty understanding of like what you need and like if you just ask for something, like most of the time, like everybody is more than willing to help you or like support you as best as you can. So it worked out really nicely for me.
Right. One thing Amy brought up a really good point about group discussion. Because group discussions in a small classroom is it's not a big deal, but it's definitely a change of pace when it comes to a small classroom. Because it's more noisy. But Amy told the people in our group, her friends in the group, or classmates, and was like, hey, look, I'm hearing loss, you can help me out here, just repeat, or even Amy would just ask, during the discussion as the time goes. So that was a really good example, you have card, you have captions, you have your FM system, the mini mic, you have these resources and accommodations to help you, especially in that time.
I think it can also matter what major you choose, because when I started in undergrad, I was a science major and I had more lecture hall classes that were like 100. Like for my small school, their class was 100 kids. And then when I switched to education, suddenly my classes were like 15 kids and it was all discussion based. So the major you choose can have an impact on how big your classes are.
Yeah, mine was actually the opposite experience. I started off in special education, definitely hard of hearing. I started off for my first 2 years, and then aside from the prerequisites, that was like 16. It was only 16 people in math, so that was pretty fun. Then I switched to finance, and then I became 50 to 100 people, so that was a pretty big change. But the code system, like the code captioning, helped me out. It was effortless. So.
Right. Well, from ISU, like with those big lecture halls, I came from freshman year with the general ed class that had 700 kids. No joke. Like, people could not find a seat in that class in this big lecture hall. Like, they stood up during this lecture. Nobody could hear a thing. So the professor had to get a boom box and a microphone to get everybody to hear. And then, with my major for deaf ed, it went from 700 to like 5 people. So with your major, that's a really good point that it can change over time from a general ed classroom to your major classes by the end of your college, towards the end of your college career during the tenure in school. So, thank you guys. If anybody has questions, please post in the chat. Don't be afraid. We're happy to answer as the time goes on. Lindsay, do you want to talk a little more about these two strategies we have?
Yeah, so some of them is like before school starts. So like what I did is I was able to watch my schedule, so I was able to see the type of class I was in, and so I was kind of able to like pick out like a section where I wanted it, and I was and then yeah, this year with the face test, it's probably just a little further for sure. But if you wanted to look at have it right on the paper, and you can always go up to after a lecture and just ask if maybe you can use them one-on-one. And I'm sure they're more than happy to explain anything if you weren't able to get it or stuff like that.
Right, and with these pictures, if you're on campus, especially I don't know if RIT does this because they're more, they have a bigger deaf community there. There's these pins, that I found that some people will wear on their backpacks. When you're walking around with your backpack, you can say, I'm deaf, please be patient, or hello, I'm hard of hearing. And these pictures are not ours, so this is from Etsy, so I put the links here. If you guys are interested in getting these links, but these are not through us. These are through different people from Etsy. This is just there's a visual example of what you guys can do if you want others to know that you have a hearing loss, have them be patient, repeating stuff or something like that. Thank you, Lindsay. Do you want to add anything else from RIT or?
That's pretty much kind of that. I mean, most professors are really going to be like, most professors want you to be great and they want you to pass class. And like, I don't think any professor wants to see a kid fail. Like, if you ask for help, they'll be more than happy.
And it's a good thing too. You want to build a relationship or good rapport with your professors. Let them know who you are. Say, I have this. I want to work closely with this area of this class. So, like for math, for example, I struggle with this area. And I need to do up the class, or I get an outline of these notes, so I can look at them before class or something like that. Let's move on to the next slide. Mitch, do you want to do specific strategies in video conferencing since you have a little more experience with younger kids, especially?
Sure. So there are some specific strategies you can use for video conferencing. Just different questions or things you can say. So you can say, can you please speak slower? I need to see your face. I didn't understand that. Can you repeat that? Your screen froze, which we all know happens all the time. Please say that again. Can I take a quick break? Because, I think we can all relate that we get listening fatigue when we do these video conferencing calls. So don't be afraid to ask to take a break and just recharge your mental energy and then come back and try it again and do another video conferencing call. So.
And listening fatigue is a huge factor, especially video conferencing. We're already we already have different fatigue ourselves, when we're out in the community or when we're at home, and video conferencing is like the additional thing that adds more to us, and so we want to be better, or if we want to help you guys find better strategies, you can help yourself not get more of the listening fatigue that you already have, or you might have. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes after a long day of, I had a lot of interviews today, but it was a lot of listening, a lot of, looking at the person, reading their lips or hearing. It's exhausting, and now, I'm video conferencing with students. I have more videos that I need to work on with my kiddos. So it's like, you want to learn how to balance and, take a break for yourself. You guys take a break, go to the bathroom or go outside and stretch. Go for a quick 2-minute run down the street and back. I mean, I don't know about you guys if you want to go outside and take a sprint and then come back inside. And if you guys have a better strategy, you can post in the chat in here as well. If you have some ideas that you want to share with everybody, let us know. Or what do you do to help yourself get more energy during class or during virtual class?
So I also wanted to add real quick. In class with class that I found it really beneficial, really important for me to establish like really close relationships with my professors, because I would go to them after class anytime. I'd ask a bunch of questions, and I'd be shocked, even with my captions and me listening, how much I had, reversed, how much I had messed up, or I completely missed or forgot, that kind of thing. And it just really helped me learn a lot better academically when you confirm what they say, you ask questions. You'd be surprised how much you miss, even with the captions. So.
Yeah, and especially like online classes being more of this semester, like I definitely found it easier if I was like actually like going to like I don't know about library, but like some of you guys like in dorming, like sit at like sit down instead of sitting like in the bed. And then like all like
Great.
Gotcha.
And it's hard to do it at home too because your desk is right next to your bed. Like for me at work, my desk is literally right next to my bed, so my commute is like 2 seconds. Whereas I left the house to actually go to work today for the first time in 6 months, where you can tell the difference between a virtual classroom compared to walking on campus to your own in-person classroom.
Yeah, again, virtual is going to be a much different challenge, much different obstacle than I was speaking for myself from the last 3 years that I've been in college, but yeah, definitely feel free to Zoom them, that kind of thing. So that'll work out.
Right. And so these are just additional strategies, kind of similar to the last slide, like captions, asking your teachers if it's part of your accommodation, your teacher must provide those captions because it's on a legal document. That's your accommodation, your right, as a person with hearing loss. And if you want additional help, you can ask your professor, hey, when you meet after class, ask some questions. I think I missed a few things. I think it's okay to say that. Sometimes we want to say what we missed. So we want to be like, okay, so I heard this, but I don't know if I heard this right. So there are ways where you can distinguish what you want catch up on or what you want repeated on. So the next slide. So Luke, do you want to talk a little bit more about extracurriculars?
Yeah, I can kind of. So I did some sports, just intramural stuff. I didn't do any actual D1 sports, but intramurals are very easy to find. Well, it was easy to find last year. It might not be so this year, but for the most part, sports and clubs, barring coronavirus restrictions and things like that, depending on your college, I highly recommend doing that because it helps you meeting people in college is the key to having fun, period. Because that's all college really is. Sure, you're going to classes and you're studying and taking notes, but what makes college different and unique and interesting is the fact that you're meeting a ton of people. And another way to do that is group life as well. My college personally, they don't have group life at BC, but other schools I know has very large group life. A lot of state universities have a ton of group life, and I know a lot of people that do it, and they really, really enjoy it. And so, if you really are looking for a way to meet new people, and are really unaware about how to get into college circles, sports clubs and group life are a very cool way to do it and very unique way to do it, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah. Speaking for myself, I joined FF's not part of my first year as a Jewish fraternity. It was just when I joined, it was 22 people. Now we're down to 8, but I really like the small aspect, and it's just probably one of the best choices I've made in terms of establishing really good relationship with my fraternity brothers. So, Greek life's a great way to go, but if you don't feel like that suits you well enough, then joining a club, sports is another good route.
I did want to touch up on Greek life. So it's not the Greek life. There are different ways to represent Greek life. So it's not just sorority and fraternity. There's also business fraternities for men and women. There's a service sorority or fraternity where you're doing service projects. You're going out to the community. So it's not totally depending on what Greek life is, but there are so many different sororities, fraternities, business fraternities, and service sorority fraternities. So depending on the college, like Luke said, not every college has a Greek life, but there are clubs that are similar that could be small, that could be big, and then for student association, with Amy, she's in politics. You're in the politics club.
Yeah, I'm the secretary.
Exactly.
I don't know how, but I am, so. I'm in politics club, and I also got a job on campus in the library, so by doing that, I got to know more people as well.
Yeah, and you know what? The library is a great job on campus, too. It's simple, it's quiet, too. That's nice. That's real nice.
Yeah, and then I'm also in Greek life as well. So.
Yeah, there you go. So, you don't have to join Greek life. There are sports, there are different clubs, intramural clubs. So, like Lindsay, you're in lacrosse, right?
Yeah, I'm on the club lacrosse team, and then I'm also a part of Greek life, but there's so many other, clubs that you can join that if you want to do, there's just so many. There's so many, intramurals, and then people make their own all the time, too. You don't even know how many there actually are.
I would say, so just one last thing. So, especially for when I joined, you have to make sure that whatever group you join, you associate with their values, and you have people that respect you, and you just make sure that it's just a great group of people. So.
Right, and there's also education clubs too. Like if you're into education, you want to pursue a career in education, there are also clubs specifically for education. Going to schools, volunteering in classrooms. There are just so many opportunities you can find on campus, and colleges are really good at getting the word out there. They'll put flyers around campus, or they'll put school flyers. So there are just so many opportunities. And if you guys want to add, the audience that's on this panel, if you want to put in the chat of what you're interested in or what you're doing right now, or what you would recommend looking into for extracurriculars to start off the year. So, next slide. So questions, so these are just questions to think about or what we want to know from you guys. So what are you looking forward to most in college? Or what is one thing about college that you're nervous about? And what resources from your high school would help you prepare for college? So we'll start with the first question. So for you guys that are in college right now, what was the first thing you were looking forward to when you were preparing for college?
I was most looking forward to getting there and meeting a bunch of new people, because for myself, I was going to school where no one from my high school was going to, and I only really knew my roommate, so I was kind of looking forward to getting there, and then I found an instant group of friends in my orientation group, and so it was just a blast. I was so excited for that part.
Nice. Yeah, I had to agree. I mean, it's been a while. I can't really think about it too well, but definitely, I don't think I had the best experience in high school. I think I was looking forward to a change of scenery and routine and more freedom. So I think that was the part of the culture the most. Meeting new people and having a good time. Definitely having a good time. So, yeah, it's been good.
For me,
Right, you can go.
all right, I'll go. This happens all the time. But what I was most looking forward to was I would say more of doing different things, because in high school you can only really do so much outside the classroom and things like that. But in college every day you can do something different. Every day there's something going on campus. There's something to look forward to, and you're never really sitting down for that long. There's always someone to go see, something to do, and there's always more going on. That's what I really look forward to.
Yeah, for me, I was looking forward to meeting people and getting to make more friends, and also just have a lot more stuff to do.
Same for me too.
staying out of the door with the apartment for me was the best part. Just making sure I'm outside it, out somewhere else. That I found that to be somewhat of a defined on how I spent my time. Because when I noticed my freshman year, I spent more time in my room, kind of by myself. I could tell that I wasn't having as much fun. So you put yourself out there, it'll be much more enjoyable.
I feel like such a dinosaur. I graduated from college 6 months ago, and I feel like I missed college so much. I was just meeting new people. I came from a school of 500 people, and there was nobody I knew at ISU. There was nobody I knew. And even my college roommate was a random roommate that I met through the school app. So I wanted to try new things, put myself out there and meet new people, just like the rest of these guys and gals there on this panel. So, and I think that's a great thing. What is one thing, you guys, about college that you were nervous about or still a little bit nervous about right now?
There's definitely a social aspect to it that it's a completely unknown factor. So I think that was definitely just the number one thing that stood out for me was, it's just the social aspect, that's for sure.
Yeah, same. I was a little worried about the social aspect, but then I was also kind of worried about like how much work I'd have to put into like all my different classes, like based off majors. Like I learned how to like really plan my time and like figure out like when should I work on this, when I should work on higher of the project, and then it was able to like smooth out. That was something I was
Social groups or time management skills, with classes especially, because with college you're fully independent. Like high school may be like, okay, we'll help you. College, it's like, nope, you're on your own, and that's a scary thing. That's for sure a scary thing. But you really learn the minute you get there. You start getting into that routine, and you get the hang of it by like the second month. The first month may take some time, or maybe a few months. I don't know about you guys. Everyone process things differently. Some may be like, okay, got this. Some may take a few months, or some, by Thanksgiving, okay, I got this. So it's different for everybody.
Yeah, I just tackle it as confidently as I can. That's for sure. Just really put yourself out there. It'll pay dividends. So.
What resources from your high school, especially? So this is a big thing with high school trying to help you guys prepare. What have they done to help you prepare for college? What did they do for you guys? If you guys can remember, I know it was probably a while ago. So.
I let somebody else go first this time.
I have like a lot of AP classes offered to me, and so like I just did a lot of AP classes, and like that kind of studying, that kind of like course load really prepared me really well for college, because like I felt like I was doing less work my first semester in college rather than like more work than I was expecting. So yeah, it really helped me.
Yeah, it definitely goes up exponentially your junior and senior year, so enjoy the free time.
I really am.
I know it's still long ago. Yeah, but I mean, even for the current, right now in our audience out there, if you're a current student in high school, junior, senior, if you post in the group chat, where are some things your high school, what resources are they offering to help you prepare for college? What do they do for you guys? So if you just post in the group chat, let us know. We'll answer those questions, or we'll talk more about that. I did want to ask one thing before we move on to the next slide. So we'll talk more about your hearing loss. So what were you guys happy about when you moved on to college? With a huge transition for you guys, especially as somebody with hearing loss. How did you guys feel about that?
I think I was probably a little more comfortable considering the school I went to. It was very known for like kids with hearing loss, completely deaf, ASL, or hard of hearing. So like I feel like I was a little more comfortable because there's more people than at my high school. So like I felt more comfortable.
Right, and not many people talk about or talk to young adults with hearing loss about how they're feeling going to college, because it's definitely a huge transition. You might be in a school, if you've been mainstream all your life, you might feel comfortable with that adjustment, or maybe coming from a different school with a few kids who are deaf or hard of hearing as well, and you're having that year transition time. It's different for everyone because nobody really helps you talk about it, think about it a little bit more. And so some people might be comfortable with their hearing loss, some others might be shy about it. So that's why we want to get the word out there that it's okay to be comfortable about your hearing loss. It's definitely a new transition. For me, I was afraid that people were going to be weird around me about my hearing loss. That either they were going to treat me different or they were going to talk different to me. But I was wrong because I was like, you know what? I'm proud of this. This is what I am. This is who I am. What I am. Who I am. If you guys don't treat me or if you guys treat me any differently than that, then you know what? You're not a true friend. That kind of idea that we want young adults to know that college will be different, but you express who you are in that sense.
My experience is that a lot of people were just curious about my hearing loss and they just wanted to ask me questions about it. So I was more than happy to educate them. But once you do, they usually tell me it was cool, I'm cool or awesome or all those words, and then you become friends and they know to go on your right side if that's your good side, and they know to repeat themselves. And if they don't, then you just don't become friends with them. But most people would be very cool. So.
Yeah, I thought my transition was pretty easy because I went into special education. So everybody there already, I feel like I'm somewhat automatically a nice person. If you meet these teachers or these special majors, they're very nice people to hang out with. So
My transition was pretty easy as well because considering my major, I'm already in major classes, and I'm a CSD major, so like all these my friends in these classes are either going to be audiologists or SLPs. So it's
awesome.
a good transition as well.
What's the CSD major? If you explain a little bit more about that.
CSD is Communication Sciences and Disorders, so it's basically sets you up to go to school, become a speech language pathologist or an audiologist. You learn about hearing loss, different problems with communication that people can have.
It's really cool.
I still remember the phonetics chart. If you want, everybody can sing a song, have a song for it.
Yeah, so there are some majors that you guys are able to relate to. Are there majors that are completely new to you? So like, Lindsay, you're in digital technology, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely different, right?
Yeah, it's a new major that our exec came out with, and it's a mix of you can put like a bunch of different majors that are already out there and like kind of combine them all into like that one major. So like it's a little bit of marketing, a little bit of advertising, a little bit of technology, and then putting it like how we can get it out to us. I guess
it's really cool. Yeah, it's awesome. What is your major again?
Oh, I'm doing like a double major. It's accounting for information systems, and then it's like also like finance as well. So I'm kind of just like on the fence with what exactly I want to do because I don't really have to make any decisions anytime soon because like most of the decisions are after sophomore year. But I'm pretty excited about the classes I'm taking, like the business side of things, accounting and like information systems. I'm taking a lot of like computer science classes right now. So yeah.
You should hit me up for the finance.
I will. Will do. All right.
Awesome.
You guys made a connection right here.
You're so cute.
Thank you.
Also, like, I also did not choose my major until this semester, so I went in undecided. So, like, it's always like it's fine to go in undecided. It actually like helps me a lot to figure out like what I want to do. Like, and I'm sometimes like choosing major too. It's like sometimes it's nice to like go in and do it like eventually find classes.
And you guys actually made a really good point. I wish I should have put this in the slides, but it's okay if you don't choose your major now. You can still be undeclared. I was a peer mentor, a freshman peer mentor, reminding, like, helping incoming freshmen with those who are undeclared, trying to figure out their classes. You can, dabble around in classes and pick one you want to look into. Like, oh, this is interesting. Like digital technology, there's a class that I want to work on in marketing. Maybe I should see that. Or if I were to think of accounting, I want to take a class and see if math is my thing. Like you can take those classes and see what you're interested in. So that was a really good point you guys brought up. Thank you for that. All right. Everyone good? So if anybody has any questions, let us know. Post in the chat. So here are some resources that I've, me and my team here gathered together is the Hands and Voices. So if you're not sure about your accommodation and you want to look back or you can't find it anywhere for any reason, there's a checklist from Hands and Voices of Illinois, and there's a checklist of different accommodations you guys can think about or you want to make sure you have. And it has everything you want to look into: captioning, card services, sign language interpreter, notes, etc. of what we said in the earlier slides. So it's a really good resource to check out. Division and vocational rehabilitation services, so it depends on what college you're going to and where that college is. If you're in a different state, you might have to work that out with student services. If you're in Illinois, but it depends on the city you're in. So, for example, ISU, one of my friends went to DRS, and she went to one in Peoria or Bloomington. So there's a location outside of the campus that you can reach out to. So it just depends. But what DRS does for you is provide financial support for tuition, and or room and board, or even all together combined. So that's something you and your parents should look into. Make sure to have your parents help you with that as well, or your guidance counselor, or someone who is in student services at the college that can help you with that. And the one highlighted in the last one is super important. So I would recommend you guys check this out. And not many people talk about this, especially in high school, or even with your hearing itinerant teacher, or just your guidance counselor, is knowing your rights as someone who's deaf or hard of hearing. And maybe you guys do know this, maybe some don't, or they're not all of it. And you can check out this website, and it shows you what rights you have as an individual who's hard of hearing. What you can say, hey, this is my accommodation, or I'm deaf, it's on my driver's license, or you have some sort of identification or your implant. This is my right. You have to provide this for me because, you're deaf or hard of hearing. And that's really important to have, especially on a college campus. In the next slide, there's more resources. So these are just options to have. There's different resources and options. There's a live transcribe app that you can find in the Apple Store. I found a really awesome app from others in this panel and in the last panel. Microsoft Translator, Ava, and Live Transcribe. You can find these in the Apple Store. Webcaptioner.com, Captions, and Google Slides, and Zoom. And you can check these tutorials out. And face masks. If you guys want face masks, this is just a resource from Nova. I recommend them. They're really cool. They have really cool designs, even like clear view of the mouth as well. And I think that is it. I think that's our last slide. So this is our contact information. Feel free to reach out to us. These are emails if you have questions about college, hearing loss, what we can do to help you with that, or what advice we can give you. Feel free to reach out to us anytime. And here's the link if you guys want to look back at this PowerPoint. And this is for you guys to have. So if anybody has any questions, you guys have any questions, post in the chat. I'll be here for you can be here for a few minutes, or if you guys need to log off and have somewhere to be, feel free to do so. I want to thank everybody for coming. I really appreciate you guys, especially our team coming here and helping these panels, and our audience for coming out and joining us and learning a little bit more about college. Woo! So, that's all for tonight. So thank you guys. Feel free to walk off or stay on.
Wait, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna post the link to the PowerPoint. There you go. All right, you guys did a great job. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing. And you know what? I think you came up with a bunch of other things that we need to talk about some other time. But you touched on a lot of great information for kids that are going to college, and so we're gonna have to share all this information somewhere. So thank you so much, and everybody, good luck this year.
And good luck to you guys in college and for incoming freshmen and those of our career students in high school. Good luck to an interesting year that we'll have, but good luck, and hopefully things will change in time. We'll see. All right, friends. I'll see you all soon, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you all for your time. Thank you so
Good.
much.
Bye.
Nice.